So we are going to warm up. Okay, so we're going to start with lunges with one foot on a wedge, a 20-degree wedge. It's going to put more focus on the quad and relieve a little bit of emphasis off the glutes and hamstrings. And that is because when you work out in a gym in your garage, it's kind of hard to get real quad focused stuff. So we're going to kind of work out the technique in here. This is my first time doing this particular exercise in here. It might take a little bit of work to really perfect the technique here before I go up to working sets. So we're going to lean forward, really lean into the knee. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Definitely felt that in the quad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll tell you what, even without weight, that got my quads even without weight. So that's a good thing. That's what we want. We'll do one more set without weights. When I do unilateral work, I like to switch off the leg that I start on. Same with upper body. Leaning in over the knee. 3. Notice that I do not take a real wide stance. My rear leg is not that far back. And that's to emphasize quadriceps. The further back that trail leg is, the more you're going to feel it in your glute and your hamstrings. And that's actually not what I want right now. All right, so this is going to be the first working set now. We're going to use 20-pound dumbbells. Nothing insane. The nice thing about putting your foot on a wedge, and in general doing lunges, is that I find you don't have to use a whole ton of weight to get a good pump. Starting with the right foot forward, I like to make sure and engage the abs before I pull my belly button up and in. Take a small step back, lean into that front. 2. Let's set these down for a second. Let me catch my breath. Yeah, definitely a quad pump. That much is for sure. All right, let's move to the other leg. Set the foot, ball the foot on the ground. Rest of the foot elevated on the wedge. Engage the abs, shoulders back. Small step back. Lean into the knee. Really good quad pump there. So this is going to be the second working set. Now, I'm choosing to move from the 20-pound dumbbells to 28-pound dumbbells. 28 might sound weird, but I have an adjustable dumbbell set that goes in unusual increments. Starting this time with my left foot forward, since last time I started with my right foot forward. Engage the abs, chest tall, shoulders back. Small step back and lean. Now, how did I know to go to the 28-pound dumbbells? Why not 30s, 35s? It's from years of experience with my body. I kind of know what I'm going to be able to do, just based on experience. And in general, with dumbbells, I really don't like to increase by increments of more than about 5 pounds at a time, especially when I get up into my working sets. All right, time to the right leg. Same thing, routine every time. Everything should always be the same. Abs in, shoulders back, chest tall, small step back. Lean into that front. Now, this might not be as great of a quad pump as, say, something like a front squat, which when I go to the gym, I do like to do front squats on a Smith machine. This is not going to be as great of a quad pump as that, but when I'm at home with dumbbells only, this does the job. At worst, it's a placeholder for the next time that I am able to go to the gym, which will probably be next week. And at best, it is a little bit of a different movement with dumbbells, so it offers something a little bit different. So it still fits in with that element of progressive overload, which is to say that slowly over time, you're systematically changing something, increasing load on the body in some way, shape, or fashion. Well, I apologize. I missed the mic'd up recording of my last working set with the 36-pound dumbbells. But don't worry, I have yet another working set here. And I'm going to move from the 36s to, let's go 40s. And we'll start on the right-hand side. Actually, no, we'll start on the left-hand side. Abs in, proud chest, small step back. Whew, 6. So with the 36s, I was able to do 7. With the 40s, I was only able to do 6, which is to be expected. That's kind of what I'm hoping will happen. I always like to take a little bit of a breath in between left and right when I do unilateral work. I want to make sure that I'm able to do as good as I can on each side every time. Taking this little breath in between sides, changing sides, ensures that. All right. Moving to the right. Only can do 5. Only can do 5 there on the right side, so I want to make sure that on the next set here, I'm able to keep up force production on that right side. I don't want any side to fall behind. So on that last set with the 40s then, what I'm saying is that I was able to do, 6 on my left, only 5 on my right. So at the start of the next set, This is why I tend to switch the leg that I start with. I'll start on my right, so I'll actually be freshest with the leg that I start with, even if I left off on that leg last time. The reason for that is that when I start, I'm expending a lot of energy, a lot of fuel is being used, and in that 30-second recovery that I do between sides, it's not nearly enough to recover even close to all the way, so that the side that I switch to kind of gets lost a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take roughly 2 minutes, have a rest here. All right, so as the garbage comes by, let's take out our own garbage, all right? We're gonna go from the 40s to the 44s. I am planning on this being the last set. And we're gonna start with the right side, try to make up for the 5 reps that we did last time. Let's see if we can't stay stable at 5 here. That would be a victory. Well, we'll count that as 6, why not? So we'll count that as 6, even though I smacked my left knee on the concrete. We're gonna chalk that up to just ultimate effort. So truth be told, this is a great quad pump. It is not as good as doing a front squat on a Smith machine. It's about as good as I think I can manage given the limitations of my weight set. I have an adjustable dumbbell set from 5 pounds to 8 pounds. I really hope you can't hear all that all that garbage picking up. They do work hard, but man, that is loud. Without a barbell, it's kind of limiting. All right, let's do our left side. That's enough chit chat. A stronger 6 on my left. All right, I'll consider that a victory. Could it have been better? Yes. Will it have to do for today? Yes. Let's move on to something else. We're going to move on to a hinge movement called the Romanian deadlift. Now, don't get this confused with the stiff leg deadlift. It's the same lift. Stiff leg deadlift, Romanian deadlift, they are the same thing. It's a tomato thing. People like to argue about stupid things. It is the same lift. So I'm going to do it with the wedges. I'm going to elevate my heels on the wedges, about hip width apart, engage my abdominals, maintain a proud chest, a high chest, and a flat back the entire time through this lift. Now this technique is critical. You'll see the side view of what it ought to look like, but essentially you're hinging forward while only unlocking your knees, not actively bending them. This is one of my favorite hip hinge lifts. Now hip hinge is when you flex at the hip while pulling your butt backwards and maintaining a flat back. And you really only unlock your knees enough to be able to flex adequately for the lift. Now I'm going to do it with my heels elevated on the 20-degree wedges. That will protect my lower back, which I have a herniation within. Keep a proud chest, abs tight, drive butt back. Hands stay close to the knees. Nice warm-up set with the 44s. Again, the weight increments of these dumbbells kind of funny. There's no 45s, but there is 44s. All right. So we're going to do our second set of stiff leg / Romanian deadlifts. Moving up from the 44s to the 53s. Again, I know my body. I go in small increment increases. This will be the first working set. Again, doing Romanian deadlifts with something like dumbbells is going to be inherently limiting because of grip strength. So if I had a barbell, a free weight barbell, I'd use that. But hey, I don't. So I use what I have. All right. It's going to be the second working set of Romanian deadlifts with the 60-pound dumbbells now. Engage the abs, chest tall. Good. So I elevate my heels on these, which you'll rarely see anybody do. But the reason that I do that is that I can go further down into the hinge like this, whilst keeping my lower back straight. So if I didn't have my heels elevated, there's a distinct rounding of my back that begins to occur at this depth. If I elevate my heels, it disappears, and I can actually go further down. Now, if you don't have back problems, herniated discs, things like that, then perhaps you don't need to elevate your heels. I find that for me, it's significantly better. I can get further down into the lift, activate greater amount of hamstring musculature while also protecting my back. We are going to go from the 60s to the 65s. Bigger weight now. Engage the hip girdle, abs in, chest tall. There's 10. Now you'll see the next exercise I'm going to do is going to be a Bulgarian split squat with dumbbells because I don't have anything else. And you might think to yourself, well, isn't that just insanely similar to the first exercise you did? The sort of narrow stance, quad-centric lunges. And at first glance, I can see where you'd think that. However, they're radically different in that the Bulgarian split squats, as you might be able to tell from the side view, once I do get to it, it's much heavier emphasis on the glutes. Right, so that's a glute-centric lift with sort of a side helping of quads. Right, quads do help out, adductors do help out, hamstrings do help out, but it is primarily a lift for your glutes. And so if you were to solely rely on Bulgarian split squats for quad work, you're gonna have a problem with your quad development relative to your glutes. Bad news, guys, I got some flies in here. Perhaps some mosquitoes. I can only hope they're carrying West Nile. We're gonna call it a day after this last set of Romanian deadlifts. And we're gonna go to the 70s. Last set was at the 65s. You'll see that I like to do these small little increases in weight along the way, nothing crazy. At my age now, I wanna get a good workout. I want to feel the pump, but I also don't want to get hurt. And ultimately, I don't want to get hurt. That trumps everything. So again, Bulgarian split squats, primarily for the glutes. It's gonna be a trial and error process for finding the exact position for your rear foot on that elevated surface. Oh, sweat is so salty. So, Bulgarian split squats, one of my favorite exercises for glute development. You might think that it kind of looks similar to the first lift that I did, my heel elevated narrow stance split squat, but it is not. The focus on that lift is definitely quads. The focus on Bulgarian split squats, whereby you do not have your heel elevated, and instead you have your rear foot elevated. The emphasis is glutes. Quadriceps are a secondary mover, as are hip flexors, as are hamstrings, adductors. Abductors help stabilize the knee, but the primary mover is glutes. So it's a glute focus exercise, one of the best, one of my favorites. It's easy on the lower back, and it really focuses on your glutes. All right, second set of Bulgarian split squats coming up. Started at the 32s, we're moving on up to the 40s, because that's the type of guy I am. Starting with the right. Last time we started with the left. On every lift, it is critical to stretch the primary moving muscle. That means you want to get as deep into the technique as you can. On the Bulgarian split squats, it means you're trying to get as deep as possible. Your knee might touch the ground. Some folks like to do a deficit stance on lunges and Bulgarian split squats, where they elevate the front foot on a flat surface, allowing them to go deeper into the movement. I don't have a great means of doing that, and I do not want to put my foot on a wedge because I don't want the angle on my foot. That would remove some of the work from my glutes, transfer it to my quads. I already did a quad-centric lift. I'm satisfied with that. Actually, I'm not satisfied with that. Honestly, I really like the Smith machine front squat a lot better. I'll be able to judge the efficacy of these narrow stance, quad-centric, heel elevated split squats tomorrow and the next day based on soreness. It's a good indicator. All right, let's do the other leg. Too far out. Good. There's 10. All right, let's get serious. Let's get serious now. All right, we're moving from the 40s to the 53s. Let's try a couple of heavy sets of Bulgarians, see what happens. Six reps is what happened. Stretching of the muscle is a mechanical factor that stimulates growth signals for the muscle. So in any lift that you do, you really want to focus on stretching the primary moving muscles. Primary moving muscles in the Bulgarian split squat, that would be the glutes. The primary moving muscles in the first lift that I did, which was the narrow stance, heel elevated split squat, is the quadricep group. So I tried to get as much of a stretch on the downward phase of that lift. Primary mover on the Romanian deadlift, that stiff leg deadlift, the hamstring group with help from glutes and lower back. So I tried to get as much of a stretch as I personally can. My range of motion on the Romanian deadlift is limited due to prior injury. All right, let's do the right. I don't like that. That closes out 6. All right. This is going to be the last working set of Bulgarian split squats. And then I've got a real treat for you guys using a new device I got just a couple of weeks ago for hamstrings specifically. All right, so we're going to continue on with the 53-pound dumbbells. And let's see if we can muster, let's see if we can do 6 on each leg. I'll be pretty happy with that. Left foot forward to start. Really 6. Gonna start my last lift of today's leg workout, and I'm going to be using a new device. And this is something I got from a company called Animal House. It's called Monkey Feet. It allows you to do hamstring curls among lots of other potential exercises in your home gym, as long as you have standard dumbbells. And I have standard dumbbells. I have an adjustable dumbbell set that fits in great with this thing. Let me show you how it works. It will really humble you, I've found. Now I'm going to only use a 14-pound dumbbell, okay? And this is what it looks like. It's essentially a roller blade. It literally looks like old rollerblades from the 90s. It's got the same quick release ratchet system that snowboard boots and old rollerblades had. It's made really solidly, really nice composite. It's got a hinge on the bottom that clamps down on the weights like that. I don't know if you can see that opening and closing. So that essentially what you do is you close it to open the hinge. Okay, so it's closed right now, therefore the hinge is open. Put it up to the handlebar of a dumbbell, then you open it, and boom, it clamps down. Just like that. Now, it's up to you to put your foot in. And ratchet yourself in. I find that this works best if it's nice and snug. Let's do it right about there. I like to start really stretched out, elbows on the thing. Down one, a little bit of a lean forward and curl. So again, this device is called Monkey Feet. It really does give you a great hamstring pump. Let's do the other side. You can kind of see how fast it is actually to put on when you're switching between feet. It's that fast. Not that much slower than adjusting your position on a leg curl machine at the gym. Quick release really comes in handy, so you can snap out fast. All right, here comes set number 2. So again, clamp it, open it up, place the foot. I like to put my other foot behind the dumbbell just so it stays in place. All right, and ratchet, ratchet, ratchet. So the first set was with 14-pound dumbbell. This probably looks like it's a lot based on how hard it looks for me. This is only 18 pounds. I said what I meant. This thing will humble you in a good way. People typically do far more weight than they're capable of. That would be set number 2. Probably do 2 more working sets. This will be the third of 4 working sets. For the longest time, I did not have an effective means of doing hamstring focused work in terms of curling movements. And now I do, so I'm really happy about that. Let's go for 8. Couldn't hit 9, but that's okay. I was able to do a couple more on my right leg. I definitely felt more fatigued on my left than on my right. So that's how I was able to do more on my right. Look like Frankenstein while I walk to get myself into position, don't I? Don't I? That'll do. I kind of lost count there. I hope it was around 8. We will just hope for the best. Here we go. That's about all I can muster. All right. That's that. That's that for the monkey feet device. All right, I know I said that I was done, But I was just joking, of course. So what I sometimes like to do on my leg workout is I like to finish with all out, fatiguing, nothing but body weight, total exhaustion, just do lunges for as long as you possibly can. Oh, and I know. So what I'm actually going to start with, I'm going to do two things to exhaustion. I'm going to do that old narrow stance split squat that I started with, just this time with no weight. And we're just going to press the timer, and we're just going to go. Ready? And go. Really focus on the eccentric stretch on this one. Oh. Ooh, gave out there. That was 27 seconds. All right. Other foot. Ooh. That'll do. 29 seconds. All right, I'll do that. Those are very difficult. My first time performing those is today. They're very difficult, and I question the load that it actually places on the quadriceps. We'll see in the coming days. All right, so now we're going to do alternating forward lunges, just straight out alternating forward lunges for as long as we can go. Here we go. Hands on hips, chest tall. You're striking the ground with your heel. You're also pushing back with your heel. So it's heel toe, toe heel. Heel toe, toe heel. Come down as deep as you can. Keep your abdominals nice and tight. Keep your chest nice and tall. Almost 1 minute. All right, so the whole point of that was that burnout set with the heel elevated narrow stance split squat. That's to burn out the quads. The regular alternating forward lunge is glute focused. So the point of that was to burn out the glutes. And I feel like I am now done. So I hope you enjoyed coming along for the ride. Hopefully it might work the whole time. Hopefully you could see me the whole time. And I will see you next day.